Austria, one of Europe's most popular holiday destinations, attracts tourists year-round with places to visit in both summer and winter. In fact, with some of Europe's finest skiing, winter is almost as busy as summer in the country's spectacular mountain regions. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 rated tourist attractions in Austria. And just wait till you see the number 1 that we're going to be showing in this video. Something you would never even have thought of, so make sure you watch till the end. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome travel guides, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we publish a new video. So now, let's cut to the chase. At 10, medieval Burg Hochosterwitz. To the east of St. Veit, on a crag rising some 160 meters above the valley, sprawls the imposing Burg Hochosterwitz, Austria's most important medieval castle. After a turbulent history, the castle, first mentioned in 860 AD, was captured by the Kitzbühelers and was enlarged in 1570 in the face of Turkish invaders. Never captured by a foe, the castle has remained in the Kitzbüheler family since. The steep access road to the castle, the Burgweg, winds its way up through the 14 defensive gates to the beautiful arcaded courtyard, where you'll find the little chapel with its wall and ceiling paintings from 1570, and the church at the southwestern end of the castle with its high altar dating from 1729. Next up at 9, Belvedere Palace, Vienna. Another of Austria's most visited palaces, and one that should definitely be included on your Vienna travel itinerary, is a spectacular Belvedere Palace. Referred to most often simply as the Belvedere, this important historic site is split into two major sections, the upper and lower palaces. If you've only got time to explore one, make it the upper palace. Here you'll find the largest portion of the attraction's impressive collection of artworks, as well as have the chance to view one of the country's best preserved architectural gems. Highlights include Sala Terrena, the main hall, notable for its statues and stucco vaulted ceiling, the Carlone Hall with its ceiling fresco, the two-story marble hall with its many sculptures and paintings, and the impressive ceremonial staircase. The lower palace is no less worthy of a visit. Highlights include the marble gallery with its collection of statues, the grotesque hall with its numerous fine wall paintings, not that grotesque then, and a second marble hall. This is one known for its fascinating ceiling fresco. If you're here for the day, you should plan on it. The palace boasts a great cafe and restaurant, 3 shops, and a great Christmas market for those travelling in the winter months. At 8, skiing at Kitzbühel and Kitzbüheler Horn. One of the best places to ski in Austria, the famed resort town of Kitzbühel spoils snow lovers with its 170 kilometers of skiable pistes and slopes dotted with little mountain huts where they can stop for traditional Alpine snacks and warming drinks. Although it's the site of the annual Hochnenkam, the toughest of all downhill ski races, Kitzbühel has plenty of terrain for all skill levels in its 3 skiing areas, and the smallest of these, Bichlam, is dedicated to free riders. But Kitzbühel is not just for skiers. With its wall and frescoed houses and snow-covered Alps for a backdrop, the town is as pretty as Alpine villages get. The 1998-meter Kitzbüheler Horn that delights skiers in the winter is a favourite for mountain hikers in the summer, and you can also reach the summit by cable car via the Plätzeralm. It's considered one of the finest summit views in the Tyrol, to the south from the Radstadter Tauern to the Ötztal Alps. To the north, the nearby Kaisergebirge, to the west, the Lechtal Alps, and to the east, the Hochkönig. To the south of a Kitzbüheler Horn rises the 1772-meter-high Hornkopfli, also reached by cableway. In addition to the great views, on the summit you'll find the Gipfelhaus, a unique mountaintop home, a chapel, a restaurant, and an alpine garden. At 7, Hallstatt and the Dachstein Salzkammergut. Hallstatt is undoubtedly one of the most picturesque small towns in Austria, if not Europe. It's also a good place from which to explore the spectacular Dachstein Salzkammergut region, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The beautiful Baroque architecture testifies to Hallstatt's wealth, which is based on its long history of salt production from prehistoric times. You can also visit the underground salt lake in the nearby Hornewerk cavern, or explore the Dachstein caves, one of Europe's most impressive cavern networks, which are, in places, up to 1,174 meters deep. Highlights include the giant ice cave, with its sub-zero summer temperatures and huge caverns with magnificent frozen waterfalls, and the Mammoth Cave, with its huge pipe-shaped galleries formed by an ancient underground river. Above ground, visitors can tackle the superb Five Fingers viewing platform, an incredible metal structure hanging over a 400-metre sheer drop with excellent views of the surrounding Alps. Next up at 6, Melk Benedictine Abbey. Melk Abbey is one of the world's most famous monastic sites, and its spectacular buildings are laid out around 7 courtyards. The most prominent part of this massive 325-metre-long complex is the west end and its twin-towered church rising above a semicircular terrace range. Perched on a rocky outcrop high above the town of Melk and overlooking the Danube, the abbey contains numerous other great reasons to spend a few hours touring it. These include the tomb of Saint Coloman of Stockerau, the remains of Austria's first ruling family, the House of Babenberg, and the superb 196-metre-long Imperial corridor with its portraits of Austria's rulers, including one of the Empress Maria Theresa. Along the way, you'll also see the Imperial rooms with their displays relating to the Abbey's history, along with statues and paintings. Next up, at 5, Innsbruck's Hofburg and Hofkirche. The Emperor Maximilian I, who reigned in the late 1400s and early 1500s, made Innsbruck the main residence and the seat of the Habsburg government, and, as a result, a focal point of Europe. His palace, the Hofburg, was remodeled by Empress Maria Theresa in 18th century Baroque and Rococo styles. Highlights of a tour are the chance to view the sumptuous royal apartments, the marble giant hall, and the painted ceilings throughout. The highlight of the Hofkirche, or court church, is the spectacular tomb of Emperor Maximilian I, who died in 1519. Widely considered the finest work of German Renaissance sculpture, the monument's central feature is the massive black marble sarcophagus with a bronze figure of the emperor. On the sides of the sarcophagus are 24 marble reliefs depicting events in the emperor's life, and around it stand 28 larger-than-life-size bronze statues of the emperor's ancestors and contemporaries. Oh, look out for King Arthur! Other pieces of sculpture include 23 bronze statues of saints from the Habsburg family and 20 bronze busts of Roman emperors. At 4, Schönbrunn Palace, Vienna. Located on Vienna's outskirts, the Baroque Schönbrunn Palace was completed in the early 1700s and was later converted into a summer residence by Empress Maria Theresa. Highlights of a tour through the 40 rooms of the palace that are open to the public are the royal apartments, the Great Gallery with its ornate ceiling paintings, the Million Room, and Maria Theresa's salon with its carved and gilded rosewood panels. You'll also see the spectacular Hall of Mirrors with its gold Rococo-framed mirrors. Behind the 1,441-room palace stretch 500 acres of parks and gardens, also in the 18th century Baroque style. Your visit to Schönbrunn should include the many attractions spread throughout these grounds: formal gardens, a labyrinth, the palm house filled with tropical and exotic plants and butterflies, an alpine garden with a farmhouse, Europe's oldest zoo, and the classical Gloriette, a grand marble structure crowning a hill above the gardens. A carriage museum in the former winter riding school displays dozens of historical state coaches and sleighs. The entire palace and gardens complex is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And at 3, the Spanish Riding School, Vienna. The Spanish riding school dates back to the time of Emperor Maximilian II, the man responsible for introducing the famous Lipizzaner horses into Austria in 1562. Today, it's one of the only places where the classical style of riding preferred by aristocracy is still practiced. Viewing the famous equestrian displays in the Baroque Winter Riding School, held here since the time of Charles VI, is one of the top things to do in Vienna. Built in 1735, the magnificent hall was designed for the nobility to demonstrate their riding skills. Tickets to watch these magnificent animals perform their ballet are highly sought after, so book online as far in advance as possible. And now at number 2, Salzburg Altstadt, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. As the residence of Prince Archbishops, Salzburg was a spiritual centre from the earliest days of Christianity in Europe. The Benedictine Abbey of St. Peter in the heart of Altstadt was founded by St. Rupert in AD 690 and served as a residence of the archbishops until the early 1100s. The Prince Archbishops employed some of the finest artists and architects of their times to build and decorate their churches, residences and monasteries, and although these have been updated in the tastes of successive centuries, the medieval and Baroque buildings combine to form a beautiful old quarter to explore. Highlights are St. Peter's Abbey and its church, along with a beautiful cemetery and its catacombs, instantly recognizable as a filming site for The Sound of Music. Nearby is the cathedral, and wandering among its colourful Baroque burgher houses, you'll find charming squares and attractions that include the birthplace of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, now a museum. Above the beautiful spires and cupolas soars Salzburg's castle of Hochosterwitz, which you can reach by a funicular. And finally, at number 1, the Vienna Hofburg, Austria's Imperial Palace. The spectacular Hofburg Palace in Vienna was for centuries the seat of Austria's monarchy, the powerful Habsburgs. Visiting this palace is one of the top things to do in Austria. Now the president conducts state business in the same rooms that once belonged to Emperor Joseph II. Nearly every Austrian ruler since 1275 ordered additions or alterations, resulting in many different architectural influences, including Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque, Rococo and Classicism. Together with its many attractive squares and gardens, the entire Hofburg complex occupies 59 acres, encompassing 19 courtyards and 2,600 rooms. Highlights of a visit include the Imperial Silver Collection and an array of dining services, giving a taste of the lavish imperial banquets that once took place here. Also worth seeing are the Sisi Museum, focusing on the life and times of Empress Elizabeth, and the Imperial Apartments, a series of 19 rooms once occupied by Emperor Franz Joseph and his wife. And there you have the top 10 rated tourist attractions in Austria. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic travel guides. See you next time.